And welcome to Blowin Smoke. Mike Joyce here, and I'm alongside Griffin Johnson, who is the part owner of Sandman in this year's Kentucky Derby. He's also a content creator on multiple social media platforms. Thanks for joining me, man.
Thanks for having me. Blowin Smoke.
Blowin Smoke. And here's the thing that I didn't realize until I reached out to you. You are actually a cigar guy as well, right?
Yeah, I kind of told you, I'm not a savant, so I'm not going to sit here and dissect every cigar, but I do smoke a lot of cigars. I like to collect them.
That's fine. It's all between your ears. I have some cigars for you. Grab
Okay.
that. Do you prefer a straight cut, or do you want
I do a
V-cut?
V-cut.
Well, here we go.
We got
a real V-cutter right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, here. I'll show you how. I'll do it for you.
I get the $5 ones that you just
Use that one.
because I lose them.
Yeah, that one that'll change your mind on the $5 variety. There you go.
Oh,
Don't
look at
worry.
me.
I don't know the ashtray.
So it stays in after. Okay.
Yeah,
See, that's outclassed for me.
Here, light that up. So while you light the cigar, I'm going to talk to my friend Rafael Nadal. Not the tennis player. This is the master blender for Tabacalera US. He designed the cigar. And Rafael, tell us what we're smoking.
Hi, Rafael Nadal from Angel Room and Tabacalera USA presenting the Romeo y Julieta 150th anniversary. Coming from Tabacalera Garcia in Dominican Republic. This cigar unites 5 of the most amazing families on the cigar industry. A.J. Fernandez, Plasencia family, the Turren family, Jose Mendez, and David Perez. 5 amazing families to create an amazing cigar. Romeo and Juliet 150th anniversary. Cheers.
So last year, Romeo and Julieta, they made it was the 150th Derby, because Romeo and Julieta and the Kentucky Derby both began the same year. So this year's actually the 150th anniversary of the Derby, because it's the first Derby's year zero. So there's actually a lot of symmetry between the two companies. It's pretty wild. First of all, what do you think of the smoke?
You know, I like it. I usually stick with, I'm kind of a baby with Connecticut blends a lot, but I actually like this. It's not too harsh, but it packs a little, obviously more of a punch than what I'm used to, but it's nice. It's smooth. So
now that we got the smokes going, I want to get into where you're at. We're doing this on the day after the draw.
Yep.
As a horse owner, we've seen a lot of the coverage you've given Sandman and a lot of what you've been doing promoting him on social media. But I want to get to you, like personally, like where are you? Like you own this horse, you're in the Derby. This is an experience of a lifetime. Some people spend their entire life in the sport and never get that. How are you feeling? Where's your mind? Where's your head?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I haven't really taken much time, I guess, to this point to really think about myself. It's been really just taking Sandman and showing people about the journey, because I'm not the one running. So, but I will say I recognize how blessed I am. I mean, being 1 for 1 so far, 1 horse, 1 Derby, you can't ask for a better experience. So, you know, it's crazy for me growing up. I grew up in the Midwest, so I'm from a town called Paris, Illinois, 8,000 some people, and the Kentucky Derby has been the pinnacle of horse racing and what I've grown up on. So it's surreal, and it feels nice to have something besides social media. You know, the people don't really understand always what I do. Yeah. Now they can finally get behind something, and it feels good.
This is why the similarities between you and Jason are wild. He's from a small town in Illinois. He's right outside of Springfield. His first horse took him to the Derby last year with Dornick, and then you two have struck up a great friendship too since then.
Yeah, no, I met Jason last year at the last Derby, and yeah, as soon as it was the Illinois connection, and we were in.
I feel like I may have met you in the craziness of the paddock last year at the Derby with Terry Finley.
Terry, you know, he took me around and introduced me to all the right people last year. But you know how it is. The day of Derby, there's a million people running around everywhere.
Oh yeah, there's 180,000 people at the track that day. It's crazy, and it seems like they're all in the paddock right before the Derby. It's wild. Let's get back into your background because our audience has met you a little bit. Okay. But I want to meet you a little bit more because you're a content creator. For me, that's very different from what I do. Even though we're both in media, I'm in the dinosaur legacy media. You're in the social media, which is rapidly outpacing anything that we do. I know that you were in nursing school, is that correct?
Yeah, I was in college in nursing school, yeah.
And you started posting, and at what point did it take off? At what point did you think, okay, this might be a career path?
Yeah. Well, whenever I started, this was the end of 2019. So I think it was like I started in December of 2019. So basically 2020. And I was a junior in nursing school. I was in my second semester, so I had 3 semesters left, really 1, and then I was doing clinicals. So I had a friend, he said, hey, you can post on TikTok and make money. So being a broke college kid, signed me up. I was working in a steel factory the summer before, and I was getting ready to go back. So, in my head, anything but that. So that was December or so of 2019. I ended up going on a social media tour, which people always ask, what is a social media tour? We just got a group of guys together that were popular on the internet and went around to different cities and took pictures. And kind of after that tour, I had enough of a following to move to LA, and I actually left college, did it online during COVID. And
so you sought out the career path. It didn't just find you accidentally.
Yeah, I mean, well, at the time, TikTok was a lot different. It wasn't necessarily cool because it was new.
Yeah.
People didn't really know what it was. And the version of the app that was out at the time was a little bit, people, made fun of it, or it was a little bit wacky and weird. Not saying that it can't be now, but it was a lot different. So that's where I came from, and I ended up doing the whole thing.
So now you're 5-6 years into this. How fast was it? I mean, give me your follower counts and what your reach is, and how fast did it take you to get there?
So I'm almost at 10 million on TikTok, a little over 2.5 on Instagram, a little over 1.5 million on Twitter, over 1.5 on Snapchat. I mean, kind of in that range for the rest of the platforms. I almost do every social media app.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite?
Well, I have to always give my roses to TikTok because, they gave me the platform. And honestly, I think still posting and putting content on there is my favorite.
Okay.
It's been the nicest to me over the years.
What has been the most fun trip, most fun adventure? I know you're going to say horse racing, but other than horse racing, what is the most surreal experience, the funnest experience you've had from social media and going and seeking it out?
It's crazy because I'm guilty of this, but sometimes I forget to be in the moment. So I forget I've done some really, amazing things and had some pretty crazy opportunities from all of this social media stuff. I would say, man, that's a great question.
Well, how many, have you traveled the world? Have you been on other continents or overseas?
Yeah, the only time I've left the country, this is my first time. I didn't even get a passport until after COVID. So I went to Malta to film a movie, and that was my first time. That was this past summer in August.
How did that go?
Oh, it was beautiful. Yeah. I didn't even know Malta was a place, They're like, we're going to film this in Malta. I was like, what's that?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's right next to Italy.
Yeah.
I don't know have you ever heard of it?
Yeah, I've heard of Malta.
Beautiful.
So, hopefully your horse racing experience at some point takes you to Dubai, because the Dubai World Cup is one of the great experiences I've ever had. I covered it for 5 years. And when you fly there on Emirates, if you're covering it, the media's all flown on business class on Emirates, because tourism was one of the main industries in Dubai. So Sheikh Mohammed flies everybody over, and it's his premier airline.
The whole thing.
So the flight attendants in business class on Emirates, when they're on the ground, they're wearing the UAE flag, but when they take off, they replace the pin with their country of where they're from. So they have all these little. So part of the game is where is this flight attendant from? So the Malta flag was the one I couldn't get. I'm like, I have no idea.
The Malta flag,
I have no idea. And they're like, I'm from Malta. And the only thing I can think of is the old Humphrey Bogart movie from 100 years ago, The Maltese Falcon. I'm like, okay, Malta, right.
Yeah,
great,
yeah.
So, I'll have to go there at some point. So last year, how did you hook up with Terry Finley and West Point Thoroughbreds? And I mean, he's one of the most successful partnerships in the game. He's done a fantastic job. But
yeah.
How did you find him?
Yeah, that's another interesting question. So through my social media career, I guess even when I started on TikTok, it wasn't necessarily cool. And I found that my passion is disrupting industries that are a little bit more, traditional or might not be the easiest to navigate. So,
and we need disrupting, trust me.
I went from TikTok, and then in 2021, so with social media, the reason that it's so awesome that, I'm able to come on shows like this and do some more traditional media is that social media doesn't always get the respect and credibility. So what comes with that is you also don't get the longevity that someone like a movie star or an athlete or something gets. So I was like, hey, I have all of these followers and it's awesome, but it could all be gone tomorrow and I could be left with nothing. So my next bucket was venture capital. I co-founded a venture capital fund called Animal Capital. Through that, I've met a lot of great people, a lot of entrepreneurs and just, wealthy individuals. And I ended up getting connected to Terry because a guy named Marshall Sandman, ironic, he runs Animal Capital all the day to day. He's the man. And he knew Allie Finley, which is married to Terry and Debbie's son, Ryan. Yeah. So he connected the dots there, and then they ended up introducing me to America's Best, Steak and Stardom, and then they introduced me to Sandman.
Yeah.
And there we are.
There, and the rest is history.
The rest is history.
Where did you watch the Arkansas Derby from? Were you in Hot Springs?
Yeah, so that's another thing, right? I've been to every race but Arkansas and his Saratoga race where he broke his maiden. So, I try to fly to everything. I could not get to Arkansas.
Yeah.
It's really hard to get to that track.
Oh, no, it's really hard.
Especially from Florida, there's no direct flights. And I had to be at the hospital on Sunday, so I couldn't get into Arkansas and then fly back in time.
Right.
So I watched it from my truck.
Yeah.
With my friend waiting for the hospital. So I was sitting there, waiting to. There's
nothing we can do about it. So that's the hot rods behind us. They got a festival going on, but it's fine. Just keep going.
Okay.
We'll fix it in post.
But yeah, that was the main gist there.
Let me help you out here. You need to get that.
Do I need to?
You need to get that light.
Okay.
So the performance that Sandman put forth in the Arkansas Derby, as someone who's watching the horse and following him, I felt like it was a breakthrough for a horse that was always right on the cusp. I felt like his 3-year-old campaign at that point, he was always there. He was a good horse. And I think getting that little bit of extra ground really suited him. How confident with that race? And how did you feel after watching him cross the wire? Was it kind of that cathartic, like, oh, thank God he finally got it done?
Yeah, I really love this horse. I mean, win or lose, I told people, I've been posting and doing this for over a year. Obviously, once he won the Arkansas Derby, everyone noticed.
Yeah.
Really noticed what I was doing. And I knew that he was due for one. Mm-hmm. I kept saying that to people, and he was a little bit slow to mature. Yeah. I think everyone's kind of realized that. Mm-hmm. Obviously, distance is his friend. So, even when he was breaking his maiden, it was a little bit harder when you're running those shorter races for him. He's not a speed guy.
Yeah.
So I can't say that I knew he was going to win, but I knew that he was definitely coming in to his own, and I think that he
was on the way up.
Yeah, like everyone could see like as long as he could clean things up a little bit, he's obviously got all the talent in the world. So
I saw you on a pony at Churchill Downs the other day.
Yeah.
Saw the bath video, the sweat scraper. I mean, you're really getting involved. What's some of the things that surprised you when you started getting into the sport? We're like, I had no idea. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot, but
there's a lot. Yeah. First and foremost, I think that I realized there was so much going on behind the scenes that I had never even seen before in my whole life of horse racing. All I'd ever seen is the big races and the winner or the loser and whoever threw the roses on their back and, did the whole thing. And I realized it's like a beehive in there.
Yeah.
That's what I always tell people. There are so many factors and so many people that go into this sport. To get to the Kentucky Derby is insane. Yeah. I mean, the test, obviously you have the health factors, you have all of the workers, the time, the money, the energy, the traveling. I mean, when you think about it, there is hundreds of moving pieces to get these horses to where they're at.
Each horse is a novel, right?
Each one. It's a story.
Yeah.
It's and this is what we would need to work on in the industry is creating stories around these horses and showing it, because there is just so many layers to what goes in.
And there's never a shortage of them. And the stories from like yesteryear will like blow your mind, and you hear like some of these old timers. I mean, the best thing you can do is just, find yourself in D. Wayne Lucas's office and have him start spinning some yarn, man. That guy, have you had time to spend with Wayne Lucas
No,
yet?
I'm supposed to meet up with him this week.
Yeah.
So, I'm looking forward to that.
Dude,
it's
a living legend. And he's 89 years old, and he kicked all of their asses in the Preakness last year. I mean,
I know
it's nuts.
It doesn't stop.
Yeah,
it doesn't stop.
What about horsemanship? Like, had you ever? You were on a horse the other day. Was that the first time you've been on a horse? Did you have horses as a kid, or?
No. I mean, honestly, the pony Taz, that's Sandman's companion. That's like every pony and horse I'd ever been on. Like, I'm talking barn horses back home in the Midwest, just chillers. You could ride around and putt around on them, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
nothing crazy. I grew up around them, baled a ton of hay for them.
Yeah,
but never really did a whole lot. I didn't have horses growing up, so. Yeah,
so it's a different world in a lot of respects, and then the people that you've had a chance to meet, like the horse people.
Yeah.
Some of them, I'm sure, are very familiar in walks of life that you've been through, but some of them they're Damon Runyon characters. I mean, they're right out of a book.
Yeah. That's another thing, right? Is horse racing is interesting because you have a lot of successful people that do a lot of different things, and it's like a melting pot of just, you got to kind of be a character to get to a certain level of, success.
Right.
And all these people coming together, there's a lot of personality.
I've never found anything in the world that brings people together like horse racing.
No, I mean, I always say there's every factor because there's something for everyone. I mean, from the dressing to the food and the drinks to obviously the betting aspect and the horses and the love for animals. I mean, there's something for every single person to get involved in horse racing to make them appreciate it.
So here's a message that I don't know if you've realized this or if you've seen this yet, because I think someone coming from perspective of yours would see this. The thing that I love about horse racing that they haven't figured out is that you pay more money to get further away from the fucking action. Like, it's absolutely nuts. Like, you have general admission, you can walk up to the rail at the finish line and be like a front row seat at an NBA game. And then the suites that are going for $100,000 for the summer are on the 6th floor, and you need binoculars just to see the ground.
Yep.
And I just feel like I'm so happy this sport has it backwards. If I go to a racetrack and I go to a racetrack that I'm not working, I'm not on the clock, and I can just enjoy, I'm on the apron right up against the rail because it's the best seat in the house.
I agree. I mean, you can literally, even for, the big races like Derby and stuff, and, all the owners and everyone, they're beautiful. The area is beautiful, but I want to be down there.
Right.
I want to be able to smell the dirt. Like, I want to be involved in the track, but everyone has their own taste and their own preference. Sounds like we're aligned.
Yeah, totally. I just feel like because you're reaching out to an audience that is not involved in horse racing. You have as non-endemic an audience. You were on the 2-8 podcast with Jason the other day. And tell me, you threw some numbers out there about how many people had hit you up through DMs, through reaching out. What were those numbers of people that were that all of a sudden showing interest in the Derby and horse racing?
Yeah, I can quantify views and likes easily because it's all there and it's public. I've gone through and I've been in the game long enough I can kind of put it together. But I mean, it's definitely at this point over 10,000 for sure. Between
that's crazy.
Comments, DMs, messages, between all my platforms. I mean, there's just thousands of people. And it's really refreshing. It makes me feel good.
Yeah.
And once again, disrupting and bringing people together is just my passion. And it's been nice, the amount of people that are like, I've never watched the Kentucky Derby before. There's even people, I've seen probably over 50 comments of people saying, I've lived in Louisville or Kentucky my whole life. I've never watched the Derby. This is my first year. And yeah, you put those up. I mean, it's thousands, well over 10,000 that I've counted up.
And Jason's, I mean, he's like an evangelical. He's like, this is the greatest sport in the world. Everyone needs to hear about it. You two have kind of like teamed up in this where you're both like, yeah, let's get this word out. Let's let's get some people to the track.
Yeah, once again, I mean, it's the, MLB star traditional, he's respected by everyone in the world. You know, everyone loves baseball. And, pairing up with him, it's like, he's got a great personality.
Yeah.
He loves the sport just as much. I mean, I'll preach it to anybody.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got some good banter going on. He's a great guy, and obviously with Flying Mohawk back in the Derby, we got some good banter.
So did you watch the Race for the Crown series?
So I'm 2 episodes in. I've been traveling around.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've watched Race for the Crown.
So and this isn't ruining anything, but one of the things he keeps saying, like he's like, oh, this is a once in a lifetime thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jason, it's twice in 2 years now. I mean, obviously they finished production before, but I mean, he's having a hell of a run.
I mean, he's 2 for 2. What else could you ask for?
And you couldn't. You literally couldn't.
I mean, statistically speaking, I mean, how many people can say they're 100% and getting into the Derby?
Well, and also statistically speaking, I think you talked to this, and so does Jason, is that every year starts with 25, 30,000 foals.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm having him deliver a fountain to me behind us. I swear the construction wasn't happening before we started the show. But, it's 20,000 horses born every year, and only 20 of them make the Derby. So you're literally 99.99% never make it to where you are.
Yeah, and if you include that in with all the other factors like we were saying with health and just getting everyone there and getting traveling and being safe, and it's just, I don't even know what the actual odds would be.
Yeah.
But it's
insane.
It's insane. Yeah, I can't even throw a number. I don't know, but it's insane.
As far as the Derby week experience, the outside the racetrack things, I know you have a lot of stuff lined up, but what are some of the things that you're planning on doing this week?
Yeah, so, getting the word out of Sandman, and most importantly, horse racing in the Kentucky Derby. This whole week for me is just press, interviews, and any collab I can get. So I'm going to go see Tappet tomorrow at Gainesway.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be really nice to see Sandman's dad.
Yeah.
And then Wednesday, I'm meeting up with the mayor. We're going to be doing some stuff to kick off the Derby week here for all of the residents of Louisville and Kentucky. And then Thursday's gearing up for Oaks. Friday Oaks. Saturday's the big day.
Yeah. Where are you sitting?
We have a section down by the starting gate.
Yeah.
It's going to be pretty close, though. Like you said, they're not like the fancy.
Not Millionaires Row, not up there.
Nope.
So you'll just have to wave to Tom Brady. You're not.
Yeah, I'll wave up to him, say hey.
Yeah.
But I'll be down with everyone else in the starting by the starting gate.
What are some of the? There's literally a forklift. I wish I could show you guys this. There's literally a forklift coming over the balcony while we're doing this. I'll get a shot of that. I'm like, God, that sounds really close as the forklift comes over our heads.
Yeah, I was wondering. Okay.
Welcome to television, right?
Let's go.
We can only do this shoot here. Right?
We improvise. We improvise.
At any rate, before the forklift kills us, I wanted to talk about, as far as the athletes are concerned, both the human and the equine. Have you really gotten to know some of the jockeys and see what, like, physically what their routine is and physically what they have to go through and what they do?
So I actually haven't bothered Jose. Jose Ortiz is riding Sandman.
One of the best in the world.
Yeah, one of the best in the world. I also want to say thank you to Christian Torres because, he was on the saddle getting Sandman, his first and second graded races were with, Christian, and Dylan Davis broke his maiden. So, I want to thank all of those guys. But no, I have not gotten a chance. I'm hoping after the Derby, I want to see what their routine is because everyone thinks, oh, jockey, they're just these little guys that get on. No, they are physical specimens.
Right.
I mean,
well, Sports Illustrated back in 1960s or something along those lines, they did a study of who the best athletes were.
Yeah.
And they said jockeys were because they have zero body fat because they're trying to make weight.
Insane.
They have an insane amount of strength and stamina and balance and hand-eye. And in that package, they weighted more than everything else. And by the way, none of them stand more than 5'5", and they don't weigh more than 115 pounds.
Yeah, but pound for pound, I mean, they are the most. That most athletic. I mean, it's insane how conditioned these guys are. And when you think about it, you're on a 1,000-pound animal. They say this in Race for the Crown. 1,000-pound animal, and you're on sitting on a piece of bread, basically, on top of this freaking beast running 40 miles an hour around a track. It's crazy.
They're the only athletes that have an ambulance chasing them around the track, right? I mean, that's
what they say.
It really
is. And
is.
it's true.
All right, I'm gonna play a little game with you here. I think we got a little bit of time to do this.
Okay.
This is called Cinco de Cinco. I've got 5 questions.
Okay.
They have right and wrong answers. And for every right answer, you're getting 2 Benjamins, all right?
Okay.
You down with
okay.
this? All right.
Okay, we'll test my knowledge.
Okay. So you were just at Coachella, right?
I was at Coachella.
First question, what headliner from Coachella that you were at was the headliner at the 2nd Pegasus World Cup in Florida? What musical act? So they have a huge concert around
And this
Pegasus.
was from the first weekend that I was there?
This is from the weekend you were there.
Was it Lady Gaga? No.
Oh, Post Malone, my friend. Post Malone.
I knew that.
Yeah.
Dang
Post
it.
Malone.
Okay, that was silly.
Okay, this one's either gonna get you or
Okay.
it's gonna be real easy. Where did Terry Finley go to college?
Wait, is this a trick question?
Where did Terry Finley go to college?
West Point?
Yes. There we go.
I was like,
Yeah.
wait, is there something I'm missing here? Because I swear it's West Point. Okay.
Okay. So now to the nearest 1,000. If you watch this on TV, then you might have a chance of getting this. To the nearest 1,000, what is the difference between the attendance of the Arkansas Derby and the population of Hot Springs, Arkansas?
Okay, well, I know it was 65,000.
Yeah.
And Hot Springs,
Mm-hmm.
5,000 difference maybe?
30,000.
So there's almost 100,000 people and
Wrong way. The
Oh.
city of Hot Springs, Arkansas has it's actually 33,000. And the final count for Arkansas Derby
Are you serious?
was like 68,000. Yeah. So it's 30,000.
So
Or 38,000,
they doubled their
68,000.
population
Yes,
for that.
race.
That's
Okay.
incredible. Shout
Okay.
out to Arkansas for having that many fans to come there.
Oh, dude, it's a great race. And then number 4, you are a content creator,
Yep.
a social media influencer. In order, name the top 3 social media platforms by reach. In order.
By reach?
Yeah.
In order. Wow, this is a really good one. I'm gonna say 1 has to be TikTok.
You're already
YouTube?
wrong. YouTube is one of them, but you got to do it in order. I'll give you a second here. And I already gave you that TikTok's not there. Give me 3 in order. Biggest, middle, third. First, second, third.
Wow, TikTok's not even there. I mean, I would put YouTube at 1.
Okay. keep
I would
going.
you gave me a hint that TikTok's not even there, which I would have never
Yeah.
guessed that. So I'm gonna put, is Meta, does that count as like Facebook and Instagram, or are they separate?
Separate.
Okay, so I'm gonna put Facebook at 2.
Okay.
And I'm gonna put, it's gotta be Instagram 3.
So you've got the right 3, but in the wrong order.
Really?
Facebook, which I think is probably not one that are you big on Facebook or
Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, just I post on there.
older generation?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a legacy.
Facebook is 1.
Yeah. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube.
Instagram gets more impressions than YouTube.
Yeah. And
Wow.
YouTube is almost more than twice the size of Disney now, as far as market cap. So they're like a $450 billion company. Disney's like $150 billion. It's almost 3 times the size. So
Wow.
yeah, and that's the third. So I was blown away. I didn't think Facebook still had that much juice.
You stumped me.
Yeah.
I mean, I could understand maybe TikTok not being there because it's the newest and
Yeah.
it's more unilateral, but
The thing is, Facebook, there's 75-year-old people on Facebook.
yeah, you don't get
So,
that.
Yeah. So you,
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Right.
Okay.
All right. And last question, there is a right and wrong answer.
Okay.
Who in horse racing has the most swag?
I mean, I'm going with Jose.
No, it was a good guess. Dwayne Lucas, man.
Oh, well,
Dwayne Lucas. There's the
Yeah.
only question. All right. So, what'd you get? You got 2 right?
not even. I think I got 1.
1 right. All right.
Yeah.
Throw them in my bankroll. Oh, I dropped it.
Was that toilet paper?
Well, it would have been funnier if I caught it. I got Mariano Rivera here hucking me. Here we go. We got, what do we got? 1, 2, here you go. There you go, my friend.
Let's go.
All right.
Sign me up. I'm
All
coming
right.
back every day. I'm
Yeah, there
getting
you
paid.
go, man. All right. Hey, Griffin, good luck in the Kentucky Derby, man.
Thank you.
As the entire industry would love to see you, especially in that winner's circle, and all you've done for the sport, because you're reaching an audience that we've been trying to get to for years, and it seems like you're really making headway, and we really appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, thank you for having me first and foremost. And I just want to say thank you to everyone that's watching
Yeah.
and supporting, because obviously that makes the difference for bringing new people in. So
All right, man.
thank
Thanks.
you.
Griffin Johnson, content creator, owner of Sandman. Thank you for joining us here at the Louisville Thoroughbred Society as we were blowing smoke here. We'll see you next time.
Sweet.
A little softer next time, Chris.
Dude,
Oh my
I just
God.
see I was expecting a wad of like cash just for the prop, and then all of a sudden I see toilet paper.